Now, the Census revealed yesterday that for the first time ever, fewer than half of the UK population identify as Christian. The Anglican Bishop of Lancaster, the Right Reverend Dr. Jill Duff, joins us now. Are we losing our religion? Morning.
Good morning, Susanna. Well, 6 million fewer people tick the box Christian than 10 years. Actually, my experience is certainly post-pandemic, more and more people are reaching out for a meaningful kind of spiritual experience, whether that's in faith, in prayer. You know, we're celebrating Marcus Rashford, aren't we? He's our hero of the moment. And he's somebody who has spoken quite openly about his Christian faith and obviously very movingly about his friend who died just recently. And on the back of Her Majesty's funeral back in September, you know, our media, we were covered with stories about the coincidence of the rainbows, the beautiful service, and King Charles's first speech to our nation. What do we remember about it? Well, it was those words at the end where he said, "May angels lead you to your rest. May angels help fly you to your rest." About his dear mama. And that he's speaking to a nation that is longing for, you know, looking at the bigger questions of what happens in life. It's interesting because you say that, but the stats don't necessarily back that out. They are still saying there are less Christian people in the UK now. They're not in a majority. And I'm interested. The Guardian's making the point. You rose King Charles there as saying, is it time to disestablish? Is it time to say that the Church of England should no longer, well, you know, when we get to the coronation, the king should not be the defender of the faith anymore? Would that be an issue to the church, do you think, if we moved in that direction? Well, I was really moved by that King Charles made a very clear statement in his first speech that he would like to see to retain the role that the Queen has held. And I think there's certainly the role that she's held, that she spoke over the nation. And at really key moments, she spoke quite openly about her Christian faith as, you know, we'll meet again. And I think the indication I've had from King Charles is that we want to continue that actually there's a place for faith at the heart of a nation, and an umbrella really to encourage people to celebrate Hanukkah and a whole range of faiths to flourish. We want a nation that's passionate about faith, actually. It allows me to say a schoolboy fantasy now that we have someone on the programme talking anti-disestablishmentarianism.
Longest word in the English language.
I think that's pneumomicroscopic silicovolcanic conoclήσεις, but it's one of the long ones anyway, yes.
You just made that up.
I'm so impressed. I'm so impressed. Yeah. But it is interesting. I mean, you're clearly very positive, and it's lovely to have the positive attitude that you come on here. But this... surely, I mean, there is a great difficulty for churches across the country in bringing in congregations and funding and continuing to operate. Is there something a change in the way that the church should be operating on the back of these figures? Well, it's interesting. I'm a scientist by background, so I'm interested in data. And what we're seeing on the ground is actually Sunday mornings aren't wonderfully popular. My son plays rugby. It's not a great time. But in Lancashire, certainly, we're seeing growth of churches who are organising congregations at different times of the day. So Sunday afternoons are really popular with families and children. After school, we saw a massive growth of congregations online during the pandemic. 40% of people access to service of Christian worship online. Just under 50% of the nation will say they've had some meaningful contact with their church over the last year. You've just had a beautiful carol on your programme, haven't you? Joy for the World. There's kind of a deep inheritance and an instinct when there's challenging times like we're in at the moment in all different ways. People, my just sense from my own friends really is that people want to reach out for, you know, what happens after we die? What is there more after that point? Our films make loads of money from this. Our music industry speaks about these questions, and actually where churches are opening doors in ways that make the faith accessible, there we're really seeing growth on the ground.
Right, Reverend Jill Duff, Bishop of Lancaster, lovely to talk to you this morning. Thanks very much indeed.
Thank you for the positive attitude. It's nice to have such big smiles coming on the morning in the morning at this time.
Oh, well, good morning. I'm on your programme.
Well, it's lovely to have you. Thank you very much indeed. Andrew, Kevin, does it matter? Does it matter that fewer people are identifying as Christian? Those identifying as Muslim rose from 4.9% in 2011 to 6.5%. The number who say they have no religion increased to 37.2%.
It's that big increase in people who aren't religious, which is why, for the first time in 1,500 years, Britain isn't a majority Christian country.
But it's the established church, and the king is the defender of the faith. So, as Martin says, is it now time to look into that?
I believe it is. I'm one of those who isn't religious. I'm an atheist or a humanist on a good day. Where the big growing group there, and I think the institutions. I do think it's ridiculous that you have 26 Church of England bishops sitting in the House of Lords to make laws. No other faith or non-faith has those guaranteed seats. You have the teaching of Christianity in schools. Well, teach all religions and and philosophies. I agree with that. I don't see why you should have compulsory worship unless you are a church school or a Muslim school or a Hindu, Jewish school, whatever. So, yeah, I think it is time to change and disestablish. But I know there are bigger issues. People will be at home saying there are bigger issues, but I think it's a ridiculous system we have.
I think it's very sad, and I speak as a Roman Catholic, and I go to church most weeks if I can, and I miss it if I don't go. I stopped going for many years, but I got back into it, and I still find the church a place of great comfort and peace. And in Belgium, just these last few days, some glorious churches there, and fabulous. Always light a candle. But
a lot of us who aren't religious, though, living in Britain, will still be almost cultural Christians in the sense, the Bible stories. And the Bible, as Neil Kinnock says, has lots of very good stories. Or you like to sing a carol at Christmas, although you don't really believe those little...
It's got some pretty oppressive stuff as well.
There was a little baby away in a manger. You can like a church, you can like a cathedral, you can respect people who have religion, because a lot of people who do have religion, they kind of do good works as well. Their community
involved. The Red Sea was pretty dramatic, wasn't it, in the Bible?
You'll be an Old Testament. He'll be an Old Testament.
Nothing wrong with just the Old Testament. Careful on that one. Some of us only have one book to read.
We want a plague of locusts on his house, not my house. Plague of locusts.
Okay, that's enough discussing religion this morning.